Hi everyone, this is Nate with another Backcountry beer review. Today I'm on top of the summit of Cerro Pelon, which is Spanish for Bald Hill. It's in the Jemez Mountains in northern New Mexico, and I have to say it's only a P1K. It doesn't even break 10,000 feet, which there are two mountains behind me that you can see that are above 11,000 feet in the Jemez. So it's really not that tall of a peak by the standards of the Jemez, but I have to admit the view might be the best view I've gotten in the Jemez, at least of the surrounding area. I can see well into Colorado, which is quite a ways north of here, and just pretty much the entire northern range of New Mexico's high peaks is visible. The Rio Grande Valley, it's a great summit. I highly recommend it. Not too difficult either. The beer I'm reviewing today is by Mare Island Brewing Company in Mare Island, California, and it's their Nuclear Sandwich Double IPA. So I have to admit, I know nothing about Mare Island Brewing, except for what I've read on the back of the can, which I'll read for you in a minute. It's Mare Island, I think, northern edge of the San Francisco Bay. I was in that area for work somewhat recently. I'm filming this in mid-November. And when I was there, I decided, let's pick up some beer. I like to try the local fare, review it. Gives me a break from, I love New Mexico beer, but it's fun to try something from a different state, especially if I can't get it in New Mexico, like this beer. And as I've said on this channel a few times, I'm really into nuclear history, nuclear culture, nuclear science. And so the fact that it's called Nuclear Sandwich Double IPA really captured my imagination. It captured my attention. I had to pick it up and try it. Now, when I picked it up, I had no idea why they were calling it Nuclear Sandwich. Was it just because it has a big blast of flavor? I have no clue. That was what my guess was. But actually, you can see that I'm not going to read the whole history section on the back of the can, but this area, Mare Island, was actually where they did a lot of shipbuilding, including the nuclear fleet, nuclear submarine fleet anyway, and I'll read that a little bit. You've tasted our hydraulic sandwich. Well, we threw balance out the window, loaded on the hops, and created this, our nuclear sandwich. During the Cold War, much of the Navy's nuclear submarine fleet was proudly built on Mare Island. So pretty cool that they're working in their history into a cool nuclear-themed beer. Let's open it up and give it a taste. All right, it's time for a sip. Really like that view behind me. Those white top peaks you see out there are all the way in Colorado, which is really far away. Those are probably 14ers, maybe 13ers in southwestern Colorado. Very cool view. I really like this peak. The one word I use to describe this beer is concentrated. It packs a punch. It's got a lot of flavor, which it should at 9.1%, but you know, they say they crank up the hops in this one, and they certainly do. I mean, I'm getting just this intense, rich, concentrated, like this off-dry grapefruit meets orange, just this intense, fruity, citrusy flavor like that. It's not very bright. Like, I don't think it veers into like the lemon or the lime or even like a tart orange. It's really more of those kind of earthier, citrusy fruits. It's certainly got some bitterness despite the fact that it's off-dry. I mean, see, this, it actually does have the stats. 85 IBUs, yeah, tastes about like that. I mean, it's because it's so intense, the bitterness doesn't come quite through as, you know, really like sucking the moisture from your mouth. It still maintains that nice balance, but I'd say it's kind of like this pithy bitterness, kind of like the rind of those fruits that I described previously. And then as the beer evolves, I think it kind of morphs into this like herbaceous bitterness. A lot of times the way that I kind of view it is, you know, pluck some herbs from a bush of fresh herbs and eat some raw, fresh herbs. It always has that kind of bitterness that doesn't really come through when you cook with the herbs, because that bitterness kind of gets cooked away. You're only using a small amount of the herbs. And so to that end, I kind of say this is like maybe thyme, maybe marjoram. Not too intense, but it's there. I'm getting a little bit of pine, not much. It's really dominated by those citrus notes, but I'm getting, you know, a little bit of pine. In the middle of the beer, I'm getting this nuttiness. It's just a very vague nuttiness. I don't think I could assign it to a specific flavor, but it's certainly there. The finish doesn't linger long. I mean, it's actually, a lot of times in really hoppy IPAs, sometimes you get this bitter tannic finish at the end. Not getting that really at all. I mean, there's certainly some bitterness that sticks around on the back of your tongue, but nothing too intense. It's a really good beer. It's easy to drink at 9.1%, which means it's dangerous. Thankfully, it's class one on the way down. And that's probably it for me. Cheers, and have a backcountry beer for me.